artists, and welcome to day 58. Today we're going to be discussing the effects of fixative on your graphite drawing. Now what I've done here is the first step that we discussed yesterday. I've laid down some HB graphite and rubbed it with the brush a little bit to get it into the tooth. I'm working on a fine tooth paper again. But what I want to show you today is how you can use fixative to build up your value scale as well. So before I carry on, I'm going to just spray half of this with a bit of fixative. Now, the secret with fixative is to use a good quality fixative, give it a good shake, and just lightly spray it. You don't need a lot of fixative. The more fixative you put on, the more shiny and unworkable the surface is going to be. So when you buy a fixative, make sure it's a good quality artist fixative, and that it is a fixative that allows you to rework. The difference between a fixative that is a finished fixative and a rework fixative is that the fixative that you use that's going to rework is going to give you a slightly matte finish. You don't want a shiny glossy finish, otherwise your graphite's not going to be able to grip very well. So I've given it a little bit of time to dry. Now I'm going to go back in there with my next pencil, which will be my 4B, and I'm only going to work part of the area, so at the end of it we're going to be able to see all of the different gradients. I'm using exactly the same technique that I used yesterday. Very light touch. And again, work my brush. Now at this point you're going to see very little, I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but you're going to see a very little difference between the area that I fixed and the area that I didn't. It will be ever so slightly darker. Again, I'm going to come with my fixative, put it on the same line, and give it a light spray. That should be plenty enough. Now at this point you should be able to see that the area that is fixed on the right hand side is slightly darker than the area on the left hand side. That is because the graphite has been secured. Now if I just touch it there, you'll see it's not picking up any graphite on my finger, so I know that there is enough fixative on there. If I put more than that, I'm actually going to be overloading my paper with fixative, which will end up giving my pencil even more of a shine on it than I want. Right, the next step is going to be the 6B. I'm going to come down a little bit so again we can see the difference, and now we're really starting to see the area that is fixed, how much darker it is than the area that isn't fixed. And again, I'm going to fix it. I might have overloaded the fixative a little bit there. Should have only sprayed once. And again, you give that a minute to dry. Fixative dries quite quickly, and we can see I'm not getting any I'm not getting any graphite on my finger. And now I can come in with my 8B. I'll tell you a funny story while I'm doing this. One of my artists made me laugh one day. We were talking about fixative. She had drawn her drawing onto her canvas, and I said to her, right, now you can fix it. And she said, wow, what's wrong with it? No, there's nothing wrong with it. We need to fix it so that it doesn't dissolve into your paint. Oh, that kind of fix. And let's give it one last fix. Line it up where I had it before. Sprayed my hand there more than anything else. Give it a dry. Right, I'm hoping you can see that. I'm hoping the camera picks that up nicely. Here we've got plain HB. That's without fixative, and that is fixed. Here we went down to our 4B, 6B, and 8B. Now you'll be able to see down at the 8B, I'm hoping again that the camera has picked it up nicely. It looks, when I look in the viewfinder I can see it quite well. But I'm looking at a tone here that is ever so slightly lighter than that one. So as we can see, when we use fixative, it can actually help us to increase the density of our very dark values in our drawing. The secret with fixative though is to keep it a light touch, because again, if we move this around for the camera to see, you'll see that the fixative has probably slightly increased the sheen on the darker areas than it has on the lighter areas. If we compare the right hand side of the 8B to the left hand side of the 8B, you'll see it's probably slightly more shiny. I can see it. I'm hoping the viewfinder picks it up nicely. Artists, I hope that has helped you to understand fixative and the best way to use your fixative, and how your fixative can help you to deepen your values. Thank you for joining me in day 58. And I will see you again tomorrow in day 59. Please remember to like and share and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye.